tweeted something about Reconstruction today, and of course, chapter 2 is all about Reconstruction, and I thought it was profound. We're talking with Clay Cane, author of The Grift, The Downward Spiral of Black Republicans from the Party of Lincoln to the Cult of Trump. I thought it was profound what you wrote in your book and what you tweeted out today, because here we are again. Except during Reconstruction, most of us didn't have the right to vote. We are going to be participating in our own re-enslavement. And maybe slavery doesn't look like in the cotton fields and the tobacco fields, picking, growing rice and making indigo. It's different today. It's different today. And it's not just even the prison industrial complex. Slavery today will look completely different, but have the same impact. And I don't think we're ready for it. But it's sad that we're going to participate in it this time. We couldn't participate really before. Women couldn't vote, a lot of Black people couldn't vote, still, heavily land ownership. Tell them what you wrote about this period and how it's so similar to Reconstruction.
So what's interesting, in the book, I talk about how the Republican Party began stabbing Black folks in the back really from the very beginning, with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was putting in a plan to, before he died, a lot of folks don't know this, to forgive former Confederates. And other Republicans, like my man Thaddeus Stevens, a small group, they said, this is a terrible idea. What are you doing? You can't give the South back to the very people who enslaved these Black folks. Like, what the hell are you doing? Abraham Lincoln's assassinated, so they create this thing, they create these Reconstruction amendments, right? And I call them the Black American amendments, because they were all about Black people. That's what they basically were for, because they knew that a Civil Rights Act wasn't enough. We had Civil Rights Acts back then, and they said, no, these people are too crazy, we can't do this. And a key part of it is 14th Amendment, Section 3. That's what everybody's talking about. And all the pundits that I see on TV, one of the key things they leave out is they say that Section 3, it banned insurrectionists from serving as president, vice president, a federal, local, whatever the case may be, serving if you are insurrectionists. And they broadened the language because they were afraid of something else happening. And I'm not a big fan of them folks, but they saw something like this might happen again in a couple hundred years by a different kind of guy, right? And we got to make sure this can't happen again, right? So they banned these Confederates, but what happened? They never really utilized that Section 3. So you had former Confederates being reinstalled all throughout the South. John Marshall Stone, governor of Mississippi, enacting hell against Black folks. You had that demon President Andrew Johnson giving all these pardons. Then they put amnesty through Congress to forgive all these former Confederates. And my dude, Thaddeus Stevens, white dude, said, what the hell is going on? What is happening? So the end of the gutting of Reconstruction really happens before Reconstruction gets started, because they already put in a plan to forgive these former Confederates, and they already put in a plan to dismiss Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And so now we're doing it again, Karen Hunter. We're doing it again. This is so, respect to Judge Jackson, Judge Sotomayor, but I passionately disagree, and I disagree like Douglas disagreed, like Harriet Tubman disagreed, like Ida B. Wells disagreed when they did it the first time. And listen, you bring up a good point. Maybe they're doing it this time because, oh, what if they try and pull somebody else? I understand that. But what I do know is that history is repeating itself because we ignored a constitutional amendment in the 1860s. It was 1868, and here we are doing it again. One more thing. Part of the reason why they had that Section 3 there, they were banning former Confederates regardless of a trial or a conviction. Why? Because they said, well, if they're tried in Mississippi, they're going to be acquitted. So Thaddeus said, and the other folks said, well, who cares about a trial or conviction? They're obviously insurrectionists, and we'll let the state decide if they are insurrectionists. The state of Colorado decided that Trump is an insurrectionist. Illinois said Trump is an insurrectionist. States' rights. But now the Supreme Court decided we're making the same mistake we did. And that saddens me and that scares me. And that's exactly what I laid out in this book, the repeating of history.
Now, they're also going to hear the immunity claim. I'm hesitant because it's so clear what's about to happen. And it's like, I don't know what to do to stop it at this point. I have no more answers to how, and I almost feel like, the more we talk about it, the more those people who are, not voting or not voting their conscience or conscience is object, whatever the reason. And this is not, again, and I shouldn't even have to say this, because it's never, ever for Black people been about Democrats and Republicans. We have never aligned ourselves with a party. We've always aligned ourselves with our own damn lives and freedom, period.
Yep.
And so it's sad to watch that we have more access to information than ever before, and yet so many people are ignorant of just basic stuff. Basic civics. So I'm grateful that the reason why I think your book is still on the bestsellers list is because it is full of history. That makes it timeless, right? That means forever somebody can go back and reference some things and it'll still be true because you did your research and your homework. And we need more of that. As I was watching 60 Minutes right before I came on the show, and they were interviewing the Moms for Liberty and the 90 plus books that they wanted to ban in this very, Republican place that they thought they were going to be able to get away with it, but the people said no. And they did the work of actually all of the folks got together and read the 93 books and determined whether or not they were supposed to be banned. And, the guy that was leading the charge, who was a Republican, was like, I'm okay with, people with parents being able to decide what their children read. I'm not okay with other people being able to decide what other people's children are reading. And we're here now, and they got their talking points down, and they got their manifesto. They got their Project 2025. They are ready like they were ready then. They've never stopped being ready. And it's not rocket science, y'all. It's not rocket science. And it's not feelings, because they don't give a damn about your feelings, my feelings, the world. They're very clear about what it is that they want to get done here. And it's crazy that we're back here. So thank you for, doing a fight. I haven't given up, but I don't know how much energy I can put into convincing people to vote for your lives, because the truth of the matter is you and I are going to be okay.
Hopefully.
We have passed. I'm saying, well, I did kind of mention this on Saturday, that folk who speak this kind of truth are going to be a problem for an administration that will now have immunity and carte blanche to do whatever and to silence people.
Yeah. Can I tell you? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms.
No.
I don't think I've told anybody this. When I was on The View, I was talking with Miss Joy Behar in between commercial breaks.
Wait, can you pause for a second? Because I
please.
need to mention, who's 81 going on 82 years old, school teacher. I think people need to know that, because the disrespect, y'all not going to disrespect an 82-year-old woman. Like, y'all, come on now. Y'all raised better than that. You ain't got to agree with her, but she spent 82 years on this earth, and a great deal of that was teaching children, okay?
Right.
And in certain communities that most people, like, she knows some things, and she's also lived a while, so I'm gonna give her respect.
She saw Vietnam. She saw the Barry Goldwater era and all that good stuff. And we were talking in between commercial breaks, and she goes, Clay, she was talking to me like I've known her for years. That's that's the beauty of an elder, because they've seen so many. It's so beautiful. And she said, if he's back in office, this show is done. They're going to pull us. They're going to find a way. You said it too. That if he's back, he's talking about ending MSNBC, like media and voices that are factual, that have context and nuance. Y'all out there listening, who spread our words at the barbershop. For Joy Behar to say that, who is in her 80s, right? She's not going to be here for the next 40 years, right? For her to realize that, for her to see that threat, and they're on a major network. And where does that leave voices who aren't as powerful, who don't have that kind of platform? So, yeah, my only hope is, not only, one of my many hopes is that in the 1860s, kind of what you said, we had a different electorate. The electorate is much different now. So my hope, but sadly, we voted at higher numbers back then. So I can't get my mind around that. But my hope is that women can vote. Immigrants, if they go through the right process, can vote. You could not have property and still be able to vote. My hope is that there are more people, not just rich landowners, who have access to the vote, that we can make the right decision. That's my hope. That's my hope.
Okay. I'm gonna say less. Like, hey, and as you're hearing my frustration, because that's what it is. At the same time, I can't stop. You can't stop. We just can't stop, because it's in our DNA actually to keep doing what we've been doing. So I'm undeterred. I'm just sad. I'm a little sad, if I'm being honest. Not just frustrated. I'm just sad that we're back here. That we didn't keep our foot on the gas. I'm a foot on the gas type chick, by the way. I drive fast and do, like, I'm somebody, going just keep going.
Taurus
I will
energy.
keep going.
That's
Yes,
Taurus
I'm
energy.
not going to stop. I will drive 17 hours without stopping for the bathroom, because I just got to get to my destination.
Me too.
That said, without a diaper, I have to say that, in case anybody was wondering. But yeah, no, this. I feel like I've lived long enough to see some things too. I'm not 81. But it's like, you don't have to be a soothsayer or a prognosticator to see how this is going to go down and to see what comes next, right? And at every turn we get comfortable. This has to be the time that no matter what happens, we do not get comfortable. That no matter what happens, we can't relax. No matter what happens in November, we can't relax. If Biden wins, we can't relax.
Absolutely.
And so I'm sitting, I'm always in the lab planning for what comes next. I'm even planning for them targeting this, this channel in particular, because, DEI, if you think about it, right, you have universities now removing DEI and firing folk. There's some reshuffling going on here, right? Oh, why do you have a black channel? We don't have any white channels. Every damn one of your channels is white, and this one isn't necessarily black. 30% of our listeners are white. Like, at the end of the day, to have to even fight that battle, y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know, because the courts are coming, just like they came for Fearless Fund.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, our very institutions that serve us are being targeted, because now they have a Supreme Court case that upholds their ability to come for you.
Yeah.
And we don't even understand that. That was for 4 years, right? That was a 4-year, if I could just get the Supreme Court, which is what that 2016 was about.
That's right.
And they got it. And now you're seeing, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Read the Project 2025. Get your life together. All right.